And then I was
Well, first of all, congratulations. You're on Gloves Off. I have a show called Gloves Off. On Gloves Off, we don't sugarcoat, we don't beat around the bush or bite our tongue. My objective of doing this is to give everybody a platform to speak their truth and, like view life the way they see it. So, obviously, you have a business, and that's what made me approach you, because I have my own personal history with this establishment. So I want to know, how did Thelma's come together? How did you started all this? Like, give me some history.
Okay, so I mean, obviously you got some history here. So Thelma started 26 years ago now.
Okay.
With Gloria and Carmen, two sisters.
Okay.
I came about 6 years ago.
Okay.
So 6 years ago, me and Gloria have been talking for years. A couple years prior to me getting involved, the business had a rough patch. You know what I'm saying? Several years of a rough patch. Pretty much was about to shut down and stuff like that. So
Okay.
Came in and just kind of infused a little different energy inside the place. Brought the place back to life a little bit with the entire team's help. So pretty much myself and the entire team that's a part of Thelma's and stuff. We kind of infuse a different energy in here, and people like it. Brunches are great. People celebrate their birthdays inside here. And I just always felt like, as someone being black, us having our own, be able to go to our own places and celebrate life in our own places and stuff. I just feel like it's necessary. It's kind of needed. Every community should have something like this in everybody's community. So.
Okay, so when you was offered to assist with Thelma's and take over, what was like some ideas and visions that you had for it?
Well, for me, it was a little dated, so we had to dress it up a little bit, just get it back looking a little bit youthful and stuff like that. There's a lot of history in this building.
Yes.
Overall, not just the restaurant, but overall this building has a lot of history. So, we just wanted to kind of change up the look of it. That's the first, one of those things, you eat with your eyes. Yes,
you know what I'm saying?
Yes. So if your place don't look a certain way, don't look right, what can you really expect in certain places? You know what I'm saying? So it starts when you first walk through the doors.
So are you a chef? Are you a chef for Thelma's?
Yeah, I'm one of the chefs here.
Okay.
I'm also part owner of the place. So we just basically took what was there, added a spicy tube difference, and we just created some great dishes now. So
Thelma's is more like, what kind of food do y'all serve?
We do soul food primarily. We did infuse a little bit of Caribbean elements here and there into the mix. Different days, different things, and we offer specials every day. So pretty much, you come out like later on tonight, a little bit of Mexican influence. We do some tacos, but not traditional tacos per se. We would do like jerk tacos, some fried chicken tacos and stuff like that. Try to put our little twist on that kind of stuff.
Okay, that's good. And how is the crowd like? Sometimes it could be overwhelming, or is it like, always packed, or it's never packed? Like, how's the crowd in Thelma's?
So obviously different days, different kind of crowd, different kind of, it's almost one of those things where you can pick a day and that could be your day type of thing. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
On Mondays, if you're a foodie on Mondays, you come out here on Mondays. More of a chill vibe on Tuesdays. Later on, we have game night with a little bit of karaoke and stuff like that on Tuesdays. On Wednesdays, we have some live music, so, and dinner to go with that, so it's, the best thing about us here is never a cover charge.
Okay.
Never a cover charge. Grown people, mixture of young and old, but grown in the sense of maturity, you know what I'm saying?
Yes, absolutely. So when a person comes into Thelma's, what's something that you feel they should expect, like, even pertaining to like your workers and stuff, like what you pry on, like when it comes to Thelma's?
So we do pride ourselves on customer service.
Yes.
One thing I must say, everyone that comes to Thelma's come back to Thelma's. even if you had a bad experience, and everybody have bad experience everywhere, but even if you have a bad experience, one thing about them is it's almost like home. They call it the Black Cheers, but we're definitely, you walk through the doors, people know your name. They're gonna know your name. They're gonna know what you drink. They're gonna know what you eat. Sometimes, every now and then, you might throw people for a curveball by like, oh, I'm not getting that today. I'm getting this. You know what I'm saying? But for the most part, people know exactly what people are gonna eat before they walk down that ramp. They already know, or they're already on it and stuff like that.
Okay. Is it cheap? Is it in the people budget? Like, what is your prices?
So honestly, we're in the downtown area. We're actually the cheapest, the most consistent. You know what I'm saying? Especially when it comes to the food, definitely the most consistent. Drink prices definitely consistent, and moderate price. We're, yes, you do have some high-end stuff here, but you have a lot of other stuff. We're one of the only people downtown that offers a lunch special for kids. So we have an after-school lunch special for just for kids. We have a $12 lunch special that runs Monday through Friday, from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. So good eats at a reasonable price,
And do y'all provide like transportation? Deliveries and stuff of that sort?
So we don't do traditional delivery, but we do delivery through the apps.
Okay.
So Uber, DoorDash, Grubhub, yes, we do offer that stuff.
Okay, so people can order from all over. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
So what's your special dish? Like when you make that dish, you're like, yeah, I know they gonna taste this and be like,
man, there's several things that personally that I do. Yesterday one of those big things was salmon mac and cheese. Salmon mac and cheese, definitely. You like it cheesy, you like it like with flavor. Salmon mac and cheese definitely hits everything. Another good thing that people come in here for, and especially when we make it, is always a pineapple bowl. It's basically, a carved pineapple with, we stuff it with rice, chicken, fish, your choice of protein. So you have chicken and shrimp was a primary one that everybody gets, but if you don't do shrimp, you can get all chicken. You can get steak if you want. You can get lamb chops if you want, or you can get salmon. Those are a couple of popular, different choices and stuff. Yeah.
Okay. And you said Thelma's been around 26, 27 years?
26 years.
Okay. Thelma's been around a long time.
Yeah.
And obviously you get all type of ethnicity groups coming in here.
Correct.
Obviously some people don't eat meat. So do you cater to like vegans and...
Tell me you're a vegan, or I'll make you, even if you're not a vegan, we can make you a vegan.
Okay.
We do offer a few, non-meat options.
Okay.
I wouldn't say all veganist stuff like that, but we do offer vegan options as well. But some people, we thread the line sometimes, but definitely we have meatless options.
Yes. And another thing, I noticed that earlier you was talking about how it get packed and stuff like that, and I see that you do live bands be here, live bands, and people be performing and singing, and there's some actual people that actually performed and sung here that's famous. And I see Phoenix Fire came in here a few times and
so
put
we
on
have
the show.
People like local artists like Phoenix Fire that definitely come out. Tiffany Tizell. We have Rashard Langley. Pretty much a lot of local people, but surprisingly, that people don't know that frequently here. Grand Puba is here at least once or twice a week. Sometimes, we had a few other celebrities that be in town that we have actually hosted stuff for or cooked for. That might surprise a lot of people. Stuff like that. We typically, I think the last show that Kirk Franklin came in town, we catered an entire thing for Kirk Franklin, the entire band and stuff like that.
That's what's up. Yeah, I would love to be Kirk Franklin.
Yeah, we did something. We made food for Joe, the artist. Stuff like that. We do a lot of different things, bro.
And did you, like, your passion got into cooking when? Like, when did you start? Because I'm quite sure you started way before 6 years ago and taking over.
Yeah, so I'm not gonna lie. I tell a story a lot to some people and stuff like that, but I didn't know I knew how to cook for a long time.
For real?
Never knew I knew how to cook.
Wow.
Mom used to have me in the kitchen, mix this, stir that, cut this up, chop this, turn this, that typical stuff,
Yeah.
And moved out, girlfriend was like, "Hey, can you make this?" And I'm like, "Oh, you want me to call my mom's?" You know. But then she was like, "Oh, let's go to this," and then it actually kicked off there. Then it turned to Sunday dinners. Sunday dinners was my I guess my therapy and stuff like that. So
you was looking forward to
correct.
that.
So every Sunday I used to cook Sunday dinner. It went from just my sibling coming over and enjoying a meal to just family, friends, and it just kind of extended more and more. And the next thing you know, it's a career. I took a couple classes at ICC in the city and took it from there, you know?
That's what's up, man. I'm proud of you. Do you have any children and stuff like that? Do you have children, a wife, and family?
Yeah, I have boys.
Yes,
you know?
That's good. That's good. Are they into this type of thing, or they have their own little lanes? You know how some parents want their kid to like inherit some stuff that they do.
Well, so my youngest, no, he's a professional eater right now.
That's what's up.
He would tell you, he's a taste tester. He's a foodie all to himself. We go places and he critique food himself and stuff like that.
That's good.
And then my oldest, he's trying to be a part of the business now. He's trying to come in. He's getting his foot wet right now.
Have you ever done that? Like been to a restaurant or something and you're like becoming like a food critic over time, or be like, hold up, they put too much of this or too much of that?
Unfortunately, I think everyone that cooks, if you cook and you bartend, you become a critic, and it's not nothing bad, I per se, yeah, I could be done better if I did it this way, I could tweak it a little this way, but no, I think we all become food critic, not in the sense of blasting people on social media or nothing like that, but definitely while you're there eating and stuff, little running jokes and about certain things, go to dinner and they're like, oh, you could do better than this? And I'm like, yeah, of course, I could do better than this, but always like that.
So, all right, before you took over the business and you referred to Thelma's, they've been around for like 20 years prior to you taking over. They have their history. You said it was two sisters that had started this. What made you keep the name the same? What made you keep on the tradition of their.
So, I don't like people telling me no. I hate that word.
Me too.
I hate the word you shouldn't, so, everyone has their own feelings about certain things. And, initially when me and Gloria spoke, she was like, hey, we could change the name, we can change staffing and all that stuff. And, and I sat back with her and I said, no, let's kind of see where everything is and feel it out a little bit. People told me, you should change the name, you're not going to be able to survive, using that same name. And I'm like, what's wrong with the name,
Yeah, true.
But, when people said I got into my feelings a little bit, I'm like, okay, let me prove you wrong, you know what I'm saying? And now, you can't come to downtown Bridgeport without saying Thelma's at some point in time.
That's a fact. That's a fact.
Thelma's is definitely well spoken about. Like I said, there's always incidents here and there when it comes to food. But when it comes to overall, as far as coming out here, have a good time, you can come in here just chill. That's your thing. Come out here and just chill. Come in here and get a drink, some food, and just kind of just hang out, and then you can turn all the way up.
Yes.
And get home early enough to recoup the next morning because we're not open that late. You know what I'm saying? So
that's
you
true.
can still get home.
That's true.
And I'm getting older now, so it's definitely one of those situations where, my partying is definitely brunch. Brunch is definitely the vibe that I party and have a good time with. I host my birthday here. Brunch.
Yes.
The night stuff is great, every now and then to go out, but it's not my thing now,
Okay. So you appeal to corporate America now, you know what I mean? You interact with the community itself. I get what you're saying. Like
a lot of corporate stuff,
Yes, politicians, anybody walk in here and get some food. A lawyer, a doctor.
Correct. I take pleasure out of feeding people, and that's because I think that's might be the main thing that separates us from a lot of people is that we do legit take pleasure out of feeding people.
That's good. That's good. I appreciate you. Would you like to say anything before we end the interview?
I think you're doing a great job, man. I think I haven't seen you in a while. But you definitely, after we spoke on the phone, I'm reaching out to people, and they're like, yeah, he was doing his thing, So I'm like, yeah, I'm proud of you, man. So
yes, I'm trying to get the community to tune in to the businesses, and hopefully we all keep the money circling within each other. Like basically, like you said, when people go out to eat, they reference Thelma's. I don't know if you know who 30 Ave is, but he's a person that's from Denver, Colorado. He never came over here before, and when he flew in to do a show out here, I brought him to Thelma's and stuff, and he came and ate and all that, and he was like, oh my God, like I ain't have soul food and stuff like this in a minute. And thank God he was bragging about it, you know what I'm saying? So
I appreciate that, man. Like, stuff like that really is the main drive for me, and why I do certain things I do, and I try to overextend myself, especially when it comes to food and people trying to enjoy themselves, because like I said, it's not enough of us out here sometimes to kind of give people what they really want. And downtown Bridgeport is surprisingly, it's a lot of us that's doing things down here. It's crazy to think you could walk down the street and almost every other restaurant you're going to go to, or every restaurant downtown, is black owned. You know what I'm saying?
Now I gotta get y'all tasting it. They had Thelma's, they tasting Thelma's, y'all. Is it decent?
Like Ronnie Bus.
Okay. That's all I needed is a head nod. That's it. Welcome to Thelma's, Bridgeport, Connecticut.
Yeah, gloves off.
Yeah.
Thelma's. There we go.
Yeah, my boy eating. Yes, it wasn't like that once upon a time.
Nah, it wasn't. So, and now it's, summertime. I love the spring to summer because it's a friendly walk. You can walk around. I have people who come to town from Norwalk or Stanford or even from New York, and they start here and they just kind of bounce around. And I like stuff like that. It makes me feel good. And typically, Bridgeport get a really bad rap, and it's not as bad as people make it out to be. The news outlets sometimes are a little too extreme.
Yes.
But you can definitely walk around down here and have a good time,
Yeah, definitely appreciate you. Once again, this is Gloves Off, and on Gloves Off, we don't sugarcoat, we don't beat around the bush or bite our tongue. Please come down to Thelma's and eat. I've been eating here periodically for the past literally 20 plus years. I remember when Thelma's first started, and then if I'm not mistaken, her sister had a restaurant as well, correct? Yeah, and I remember going to that restaurant when I was young. My grandmother is Mary Bruce, so my grandmother don't bounce me around to all types of places. This is where we used to have meetings, actually, before we go out and do some political work or something of that sort. I swear to God. So I appreciate it. Thelma's do have history for me. I've brought plenty of people here. I appreciate the hospitality, and you are right. I was waiting to hear certain things that would be like, hold up, but I couldn't, because you are right. It is a homey place. It is inviting. Some spots you feel like you got to be guarded or be on point. You are right. Everybody monitor each other type stuff. Like it's more of a unity thing. So, and we need to keep that soul around. I appreciate it.
It'd be surprised sometimes when a certain customer come in and they're like, who's the newbie? And they know who's new and who's not new. So, it's definitely like home.
And the music vibe is amazing because y'all keep it, balanced. You give the youth their music, but you keep it,
Correct. We get the mixture of both, We definitely have, certain days, like Thursday nights is typically a little bit younger vibe, but like I said, the mature level of people that coming in here is definitely great, I have people who I've seen elsewhere who act up, but they come in here, they're completely different, what I'm saying? I think the atmosphere kind of changed people's demeanor based on where they're at sometimes,
That's true. I appreciate you, man. Thank you.